We have to know our history, because when I joined the women's movement in the 70s, I knew nothing about women's history. And I've read a lot since then, and it's astounding.
The women's movement came around to me in about 1974.
Well, when I came here in 1974, I met Jay McCade, the beginnings of that Women's Health Center. There wasn't a Women's Health Center. There was nowhere a woman could go in West Virginia. And now there is.
Part of her dream was not only for women to, if they chose to have an abortion, that they would have a facility in which to have that service rendered, but also women's health care across the board.
We knew that there were lots of women who didn't have the money. There were also issues about how people could have safe abortions, private abortions.
You know, the success of Women's Health Center was because of the West Virginia women, and we were suddenly flooded for years with women seeking abortion and seeking it in a supportive environment.
You know, I fought this battle in the legislature every single year. The last big march in Washington, it was just moving.
Of course, the March for Women's Lives was awesome. I mean, with millions of people there on the Capitol lawn.
But being with, you know, hundreds of thousands of people in D.C., doing those marches, and I remember those as being very important days. And Mountaineers for Choice, we had flags with quilts.
And it was just incredible to see all of the support for women's reproductive health and reproductive choice.
I was able to organize a bus trip and bring people ranging in age from like teenagers up into women in their 70s and 80s who had never been to a national march.
I've been to all but one of the national marches in Washington. And the time I couldn't go, we did a march here that we started at the same exact time. We started at the Women's Health Center, which at that time was in Kanawha City, and came across the bridge to the Capitol. I knew that the day would come when we would have to do something with the law regarding Medicaid funding of abortion. It was just a matter of when it was going to come.
Obviously the most significant case, the one that is reported and still fought about, is Women's Health Center versus Panepinto. And it was a very important issue and case because it preserved the right of poor women to get Medicaid funding. And it puts West Virginia in the forefront of Medicaid funding for abortion.
We should continue to have public funding of abortion because to do otherwise would discriminate against low-income women who can't afford to pay for the service themselves.
I think the key issue is, do people of modest means have similar choices to people of more substantial means?
Our West Virginia Constitution has a long, great history of enshrining rights and liberties that are greater than can be found in the federal Constitution.
I think everyone that has been involved in the women's health movement in this state in particular can feel good that they brought something here that was needed and wanted.
I think most people don't remember what it was like when women didn't have access to safe abortion procedures. What we have to do is get women up to this Capitol. We have to get women up here, show them how things are done, have them meet their representatives, you know, be a voice.
While we're really thrilled that young people are mobilized, and nothing is more exciting, we need to channel that energy into reproductive justice right here in our own backyard, because we know that together we can make positive change for women in West Virginia, and we can defend the progressive laws that we already have.
We got to go on the college campuses. We've got to get the young women. And women just didn't believe that anything affected them because they grew up with it.
We've got a lot more work to do here now. Whether it's because people think the battle's over, or whether they think the Right to Life movement is gathering strength and there's pressure, it becomes more controversial for them and so harder for them to get involved. Whatever the reasons are, we've got to move people forward.
Just never give up. If it doesn't succeed, try again.